Stock Dads, we're up with another show. Welcome to another great opportunity to understand what's happening in the markets this morning. I know you all are probably driving to work and getting ready for your day at the office, or you may be getting ready for another day of day trading and trading these markets that are ascending in the stratosphere, if you will. We're into ape land. And speaking of apes, we've got a lot of news in that ape land for you, ladies
Yeah,
and
man.
gentlemen. I will tell you this. We've got a lot coming to you. We've got a lot of news to talk about. We're going to talk about some news catalysts to watch out for this week from the Feds. We're going to talk about the AMC stock split dividend play. We're also going to talk about a couple of stocks that we're watching into next week. We are joined by my good friend here, Paper Profet, and he's got a lot to talk about as well. And also, you all know Fuzz, who is wearing something today that kind of tells us what he's predicting for next week. I will tell you this. We are unedited, uncut, unadulterated, no holds barred. We are coming at you full effect live from Stock Dads. And welcome to the family, ladies and gentlemen. And for that, we'll hop right into it. So the S&P 500 registered its first decisive close above key resistance at like that 430 to 4130 area. And this now becomes support. And if we can hold above that zone in the S&P 500, we can go with the idea that a significant low is now complete and in our rear view. Paper, tell me, what do you think about the markets going forward here, my man?
Oh man, I think what I think. If you would talk macro, I think this Wednesday is probably going to be the biggest CPI of the year. Dead serious. I think that's probably going to be the turning point. I mean, if you look at the charts, man, we're right back there. I mean, to this huge level. I mean, huge level. I think Fuzz was talking about it in the chat not that long ago. I'm sure. 410, 420. 420 was that number that we all remember, right? Like it was a big deal to get through. It was a big deal to fall below. And here we are again, right at 420. So, I mean, it could totally go either way. I mean, I follow all of that stuff on a regular basis. I mean, I'm a full-time trader, so that's my day job. But I mean, it's an uphill fight for sure. I mean, we're trying to fight this inflation thing. Powell, he's got the Fed funds rate that's supposed to be able to like stop our spending so that inflation can come down a little bit. But I mean, we have to spend more dollars and we're still getting less. So it's like, how much can he? Is he fighting it with the right tools? That's really, I mean, that's what he has. But at the same time, I literally just I went to the cheapest gas station. I live in California, and the cheapest gas I could find was $6.40 a gallon. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, your credit card has this thing, you're filling up your tank, and sometimes it automatically stops at $100. I'm like, my gas tank's not even full, man. But yeah, that's, how do you slow that down?
Well, I tell you, man, it sounds to me like you need 4 other jobs to afford $6 change for gas. And look,
it's
I live
tough
in
living,
Texas.
man.
I live in Texas where it's like $3.40. That's all right. I mean, it's not
whatever,
bad.
dude.
Three something.
You probably have $300,000 houses. I literally, like 5 years ago, a burnt down shack sold for over $1 million next to my house, right? Like, this is not a joke. And I'm like, you know what? They probably made money on it too. I'm sure they did. But,
yeah, no doubt. I mean, listen, with that non-farm payrolls blowing past expectations last Friday,
that was a big number.
528,000 jobs were created in July.
Yeah, I think it was 5. Fuzz might have a better finger on this one, but it 500,000. It was about 300,000 expected.
We're about to see a hawkish Fed, in my opinion, right? I mean, they're really gonna they're gonna come after that 75 basis point. No,
they are, and I just checked the numbers here, and there is a 71% chance of a 75 basis point rate hike.
Yeah, what's funny is that if you're watching that CBOE Fed Watch tool, which I'm sure you are, like that is our staple, right, as traders. It'll move live. So the second that NFP number came in on Friday, it completely changed, because before that it was all about, and it still is all about, JP's speech, right? And what was funny about that speech last week is he was like, or the week before, anyways, he was like, it's so hard to forecast where we need to be 6 to 12 months down the road. But yet he gave an end of year forecast of 3.5% on the Fed funds rate. And then I backed the math out. I'm like, okay, we have September, November, and December. So we have 3 Fed meetings where we could possibly raise. I think what are we sitting at right now, Fuzz? 2.5.
We are at 2.25, 2.50.
2.25, 2.50. So you have 3 meetings to get to 3.50. So that means 50 basis points per meeting. That's what that means. Right. And when we got that NFP number on Friday, what's weird about the number is that I mean, what we can see clearly in the markets, there's people fighting. It's like, the market hates indecision. So it's like you say one thing, then this number is like, wow,
what?
With the strong, his justification for not going more aggressive was the strong labor market, right? And so, I mean, this NFP number, I was not expecting. I was not expecting a number like that.
Crazy.
Yeah, well, I was looking at jobless claims, and they're slowly creeping up, but I did not expect new jobs to explode like that. I mean, I don't know I don't know if it's people working 2 jobs again and they're counting both of them. I would actually be very interested to see what the revisions are, because I bet you there's going to be some serious revisions.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, they're going to come heavy. They're going to come swinging, right? I mean, they've got to get inflation down, and once they get it down, you'll be fine. But let's get out of the inflation talk, right? Let's get out of the boring shit, if you will.
Who likes to talk that?
You can only talk about the Fed so much, right?
Before I grabbed inflation. I grabbed chicken wing. There's this place called the Crispy Chicken or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. But I tried to get some chicken wings and a chicken sandwich for me and the lady last night. Dude, it was like $37 for 2 meals. Like, this was inflation.
$30
I'm just like, this is totally out of control. I mean,
California.
It's sick.
So let's get into some ape news, if you will, right? I mean, we've got a lot of stuff coming through the pipeline for AMC these next couple of weeks. I mean, are any of you excited about some of that stuff coming down the pipeline?
Dude, I gotta give it up to Adam. Like, Adam Aaron, that dude is the Musk of the memes. He is like, that dude is a genius. Like, I can't say it's gonna be a good investment by any means, but if you read into that, I'm like, I read it and it's gonna be a two stock structure, right? Like preferred and common.
So let's fill people in. Let's fill them in, right? So AMC's doing a 1-for-1 stock split, which means if every share you own of AMC, you're going to get another preferred share of AMC. Now, these preferred shares sort of work like Google and Goog, right? So Google is usually trading at a higher rate than Goog is. And the only reason why that is because Google gives you a dividend, right? And so those shares are sort of sought after. And so they'll come with a bit of a premium in their price. So AMC and Ape are going to trade this direction, right?
Like what a name.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a total wink to the community, right? That trades them. I mean, I bet you the guys at Twitter are just, their minds are blown, right? I mean, I think that they're holding Twitter spaces right now as we speak, talking about how amped they are for the next couple of weeks.
Yes, they are. Many Twitter spaces for sure. I'm sure that we're going to get hit with loads of news for sure. Yeah. I mean, I read into a little bit of that. I don't know if you guys look into, sometimes as an options trader. So I am an options trader by trade. And, sometimes you can trade around dividends. And a stock split like this is very much a similar situation where it's going to be issued as a special dividend. And when you look at it and understand the mechanics of it, and then you look at how it traded this Friday, that would be, what was it, the 5th of August. That thing was flying. And they had just reported earnings. They opened up down. And, everybody knows AMC's been diluted to the point where they can no longer issue new shares. And that is at its core the situation, right? And so because they can no longer issue new AMC shares, they're going this route of issuing a new share called Ape that will be a preferred stock. right? Which will have like a higher priority or status level. And the only way that you can own that stock, the only way that you can get that is by owning AMC and being a shareholder of record before the 15th, I believe.
So I think those dates are actually the 15th. And so if you sell your shares between the 16th and the 22nd,
yep,
you lose that right.
Oh, wow, there you go. So that's this is why I'm mad.
You're my option guru here, and Fuzz, you probably know this too. If no one wants to sell their shares, okay, just putting into the ape reality here. If no one wants to sell their shares from the 16th to the 22nd, what does that do to option volume?
So there's only volume on AMC, right? I mean, the only thing they could do is sell calls against them.
Right.
And at this point, I don't think that anyone's going to be selling puts to buy, because you won't be a shareholder record. To be a shareholder of record, and if
you'll get called away.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Of the 15th, you need 2 days clearing beforehand. So it's actually the 13th. That's the day, the last day. If you do not, and here's the thing, if you've sold your shares and you want to get back into the ape land, right? Like whatever. I mean, maybe you have your moon bag and that's chill kind of sitting there, but you want to get in a little bit more. You have to buy it before August 13th. And that's your cutoff. And they probably, let's say most people don't know that. They'll probably continue buying through the 15th. The truth is, it's the 13th is the last day that you could actually buy, because you need 2 days for that transaction to clear to be a shareholder of record. And yeah, so I mean,
so this actually
Madness 3.0.
I did. Look, you guys know I'm the penny slayer, right? So there was a stock that traded out there in Pennyland called Meta Materials.
Yes.
MMAT. Are you guys familiar with this?
Oh yeah, and the story.
Yeah. So they did the same thing, right? So they were like, oh, well, we're gonna give you some shares of this company that we're gonna build, and you're gonna, be able to reap the benefits of that. And everybody lost their mind. I go, okay, well, listen, here's what I'm doing. This is Pennyland. This is my area, right? I bought like 1,000 shares. I waited until the stock got me up 100% in my play. I traded half my position, took my initial investment out of the trade, and I traded whatever shares for free. And I'm 100%. Wondering if there's going to be an opportunity for me to do this with AMC. Like, I'm interested here. Like,
I mean,
this is going to be the game where, okay, how many shares of this thing can I actually get for free? That's what I want.
I legit think that there is that. Just from a tactical perspective, like, I mean, of course, we'll have to watch the price, right? Anything can happen at any given time. So, I mean, you don't put more than you can afford to lose in anything.
My account at AMC, by the
way. I mean,
don't YOLO the mortgage,
Yeah, but I
don't care what hat Fuzz wears.
But you can keep a moon bag, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what you're saying, right? Like, if you do that if you didn't do that in crypto, if you did that in crypto, I mean, it's an important thing, right? And it's also kind of how I invest too, just in general, right? Like, like we've been trading together for a while now, back and forth. But if it's an equity or common stock, something like that, I'll buy a little bit more than I intend to keep, with the intention of selling as it climbs, right? And then I'll keep that core position, or my moon bag, if you will, to let it go to the moon. But it can't be more than I'm willing to let go, right? But it has to be enough at the same time that it's going to matter something, right? So whatever that happy number is for you, just make sure that's what it is. We're not talking about options. Do not mess with options on this stuff. If it's less than $20, I mean, someone was asking me about Bed Bath and Beyond options the other day. I don't know, like, so when I said return of the memes, right? Like, it's not just AMC right now. So
Bed Bath and Beyond is supposed to be bankrupt by now.
Well, Bed Bath and Beyond was absolutely priced for bankruptcy. We saw it at like $4.50 the other day.
And Revlon,
there's gotta be some kind of meme ETF out there that's mooning now.
Does someone own them like Macy's owns Toys R Us? Because isn't Macy's putting Toys R Us in all their stores right before Christmas, so they can get this Christmas buzz going around Macy's?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, no, Macy's was doing
who owns
something
Bed
too.
Bath & Beyond? Where are they putting Bed Bath & Beyond that we don't know about? Because as far as I know, they're closing down every store in every shopping complex.
I still have a Bed Bath & Beyond near me.
Yeah, we still got
Actually,
we still got
I
one
got a
over here.
couple.
Do you
They're
really?
like they're nice buildings, dude.
They
Yeah.
All
shut ours
standalone
down.
They're
buildings.
big, yeah.
Yeah,
They got
and their
the
stuff is
hell out of Texas.
crazy expensive, but
I think everyone in Texas just shops Amazon.
yeah, I don't know what's up with you Texans, man. That's y'all different breed. That's for sure.
We're
But
efficient. We ride our horses to work, buggy and carriage,
yeah,
just like everybody else does.
but what I wanted to say about like inexpensive stocks and options, someone was legitimately asking me about a real purchase of these Bed Bath & Beyond $10 call options that were, I think, like late September monthly, so about 2 months out. And I was like, you realize that it's cheaper to buy the stock than it is to buy the option, right? And they really didn't. And so I think it's really important to understand that stuff. And that's actually why I like hanging out with Stock Dads so much as a group, right? Like everybody's down to like, yeah, if there is a tactical position where we can kind of play to make some short-term, mid-term cash, we're good. But the way we go about it has to be thought out, right? And something like Bed Bath & Beyond, these September $10 call options were going for like $1.50, right? And I'm like, so you realize that buying a $10 call option for September, number one, the stock has already ran up 100%, mind you, in like 3 days. So volatility is like triple what it was 3 days prior. And that's essentially pricing the stock at $11.50. So if you pay $1.50 for a $10 call option, you're making an agreement theoretically, if you hold the expiration, which nobody really does, but theoretically, to buy the stock at $11.50. Why would I do that when I can just buy the stock at $8? Right? Like my risk reward, and it's not gonna go to zero.
You get
Maybe it goes to $4.50, right? And I lose half, but I'm probably not gonna lose more than that. But a call option, and the farther out in time you go, the more expensive it becomes. You're gonna lose 100%.
A lot,
right?
yeah.
It's just do it smart, right? Like I think that the groups that we have out here are just like there's so much knowledge and resources out there. It's pretty cool just to be able to
even the community,
access.
man. Like the community as Stock Dads. Like when these guys get to chatting in the chats, right? I mean, you can see a lot of good information pass by, and that's sort of like the atmosphere that one is looking for, right?
Yeah.
Just a lot of good stuff out there. And speaking of options, I mean, you and I go back and forth about what's better, options or commons, right? And I go, man, there's just nothing like holding my big old bag of rice saying that I own it. You know what I mean?
Well,
I don't want fun coupons, man. I can't trade it. I can't trade fun coupons.
Yeah, like if you're playing, right? Fun coupons, right? Stock goes up by call, stock goes down by puts, right? It is unfortunately significantly more nuanced than that, right? And trading out of the pandemic, a lot of these guys and girls are like, you could slap 3 letters together, 3 or 4 letters together, and you're a pro, and it's just not like that anymore.
No.
So I think the people that are here are sticking around, and the ones that are going to be coming back, because it's going to happen, right? They're not going to be gone forever, and it's just going to happen really soon.
It's coming back. Now, listen, if you're out there listening to this right now and you are not in the stock market, the time is now.
Now is the time to start really
the time. And regardless, like your risk level here, right? Even if this isn't the right time, your risk level to the downside is short.
It's short, yeah.
Very short.
There was an interesting stat that came out. I can't remember who had it, but it said that anytime the market had a 7.5% downturn, followed by a 7.5% upturn, then that had a very high probability that the bottom was in fact in. Interesting stat.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's a going back to as far as they can. That's a crazy stat to kind of look at. So we'll see.
So
but if you're not in,
if you're not in,
right? Like if you're not in, and you start getting in on this next, call it flush,
right?
That's likely to be the bottom, whatever this next one is.
Right. I agree. Yeah.
I mean, we're 3/4 of the way through this whole inflation situation, right? Like the light is at the end of the tunnel now. At least, like that's why this Wednesday number is going to be such a big deal. I think like if it is a smaller inflation number, dude, it could be moonshot time.
Mm.
I'm serious, dude.
Or
Like,
unless the market is already pricing that in, since the market is
right.
forward thinking, and then
Whatever's gonna happen, there's gonna be some serious opportunities. That's for sure, right?
Right.
And it'll probably be chop Monday, Tuesday, anticipation, and then
yeah,
and then
trust me,
who-
I would love a dip. I would love a dip, another dip to
oh,
load
we've
the
been
boat.
waiting. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that like sub 400 dip one more time just to
baby.
get.
That's
Yeah,
all-
like
Yeah,
that's
400. That's exactly what I
From the
was looking
bottom.
at. Yeah.
I got 397, man. I'm
Yeah,
right
yeah.
there with you. 397
Right.
on those.
That's right.
I got
You know,
limit buy.
speaking of getting into plays, let's get into them, right? Fuzz, what are you looking at next week as one of your top picks for something that you're watching and getting into?
Yeah, I'm watching Google. I'm keeping a close eye on the semiconductors with Nvidia, AMD. You know, AMD had a crazy day. What was it, Friday, Thursday?
Yeah.
With their news, and yeah, it's just been a crazy show over there in semiconductor land. But you know, I'm rocking the bull hat here. But I do have some hint of caution in the back of my head because we are so
No
extended.
monkeypox.
Yeah, we're so extended, and what I mean by extended, you know, what I use is a 21 EMA, so we're really way above that level. So if we can kind of come in, retest those levels that we had mentioned before, I think that would be a pretty nice move there to kind of load up. So any kind of swing trades, yeah, going to have to be a little bit more patient to get a good risk to reward entry. But as far as like day trade scalps goes, I'm watching big tech. I am watching Google, the semiconductors, maybe some industrials. UPS was breaking out on Friday, so hopefully we can continue that momentum through next week. So we'll see. Yeah.
Transport's in there, man.
All right. Google, my man. Paper, you're up.
Yeah, no, I'm with the majority of that. I've been stacking this Google position, trying to nibble under 110 actually. I did have honestly, I think Disney, and I know that we've been picking out that common shares like around 90, 95, sub 100 for sure. I think that
Bought that together. We bought that together live, I think, right? We were trading live, and we were like, all right, we're buying Disney right here. I go, yep.
Yeah. No, I think
my wheelhouse.
You know what's interesting right now is like the terminology, right? Like we're talking, back channel, but it's like there are a lot of stocks out there that were so bad they're good, right? And if we do think that this base of a bottom is in, or at least attempting to be in, stocks move the most when they go from crap to just okay. That's when they make their biggest move, right? It's not when they go from just okay to great. That's not it, right? It's when they go from absolute crap to just okay. And if in this environment, there are so many that you can actually handpick out there that are in that exact transition where like Disney is, I mean, at what is it called? 106 is still, I mean, granted, it just came off 90 something, but it was 106 like 5 years ago. Right. So I'm like, okay, there is no Disney Plus priced in. There's no Iger for sure. Like that's unfortunate, no doubt, but it's still alive, right? It's not going down. And if I look at the earnings, and I do track a lot of earnings, and I do think that we may be at peak earnings, but I think a lot of people are thinking that anyways. And so what we're seeing is that, dude, it's just not as bad as people are thinking. And so stocks are running right off of that, right? Like, what was it like? Lyft and Uber. Did you see those two? Lyft and Uber.
Oh my goodness.
Those are perfect examples of exactly what I'm talking about. It's like everybody thought they were just dead in the water. And then it turns out that they're not. And here we go. We're running, right?
Paper, I feel like you were like this close to like mentioning like quantitative tightening or something like that.
No. Like the stock, there are so many stocks that have run, to Fuzz's point, like 40-50% off the lows, right? We don't need to go there. Those might be like your Teslas, right? That are so good they might be bad, right? Even though they have some stuff coming up, right? But there are more than enough really good companies that are just barely off the lows that are still in very viable ranges for sure, and very much for sure. And like, I mean, GDX was one also. That's the like gold miners. I know Penny like it was Newport mining, I believe. NEM.
Newport.
I haven't looked. So they are the ones that reported and actually took the GDX index down with them.
Right.
Yeah, they got pretty heavy broadening range down here, but it looks like it could base out. Fuzz mentioned semis. You know, I have heavy NVIDIA AMD exposure right now. I'll probably start trimming, but the one that's kind of getting intriguing is Intel. And I'm not an Intel fan, don't get me wrong. Right?
Team Red.
You know who bought shares this Friday?
Did you really? So I was looking at this Friday. I had a straddle on. So in options, a straddle is like, you know, I don't care which direction it goes.
Right.
I just care that it goes. And it's slapped this $35 like so many times. And I'm like, you know what? Penny might be right here because this bad boy cannot break down below 35. And if it holds 35 that strong, dude, that's your buy.
That's my buy, bro.
So,
I got in. I bought it. I bought the bottom. I'm feeling like Intel is only up from here. Look, you take a shit company, right? That they're not doing great right now, right? But you know, 10 years ago, they were king of the mountain. They got to get there again, right?
Yeah,
I'm buying the comeback story, right?
Yeah,
right.
We know. Okay, Intel's tech is nowhere near AMD. It's just light years behind AMD, right? It has like NVIDIA has zero competition in the GPU space for the data center. We get that, right? But Intel's so damn sticky, and you can't displace Intel in the data center. You just can't.
Right.
So I mean, their claws are locked in.
There's some big Intel boys in the stock Daz community. They're gonna be mad.
I'm not an Intel fan. I will
Same
say
here.
that, right?
Same here.
But the chart tells me, and this is the difference between trading and investing, is like we're talking trading here,
right?
And you know, you have to put your fundamental biases aside, right? And if the chart's telling me, look, there are buyers stepping in aggressively at this level multiple times, well, I need to change my bias, right? And I need to take a step back and say, hey, look, you know, maybe it's not going down, right? And I think actually that's a lot of the traders transitioning right now from, you know, where we were a year or two ago coming out of the pandemic or whatever, right? It's like, you know, when you have to make that adjustment, that mental adjustment from going short to long to short, etc., like it's not an easy thing to do, but being able to question like what your thinking is and what's going on in your head and be able to step back and say, okay, am I trading my plan, right? Am I looking at this objectively? And just because I don't like the stock, or maybe just because I like the stock, it doesn't mean just because I like the company, it doesn't mean that I have to like the stock, or vice versa. So in Intel's case, maybe, but if it goes below 35 penny, I'm shorting the crap out of it.
Yeah, there's this interesting quote. It says,
"I'll make money on it going down too, but I'll keep my shares." Right?
Yeah,
I mean, you buy puts, you add to the position, you that's the risk. You know how it works.
My luck, it's gonna go 34.85. It's gonna fly.
Right.
As a day trader, I'm fairly strong. I know how to make my moves and lower my position.
Right. I like what you did say there about having to. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I like what you had to say there. You know, there's this quote that says, you know, one who does not change their mind will soon have no change to mind.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's important words to kind of remember, that we need to be flexible when we, you know, when the time comes to be flexible and to be able to change our course.
For sure, man. Mine's always like, just because I think
Barnes in our chats here, he says, what are your thoughts on the used auto industry, VRM earnings to be announced, or Vroom earnings to be announced at the end of the day tomorrow? Carvana.
All right, let's talk Carvana. CVNA,
so here's the thing, though, real quick before we get into this, I got to tell you, right? So I bought an Acura RDX at the beginning of the year this year, and I was looking it up today. I go, all right, well, how much is my car actually worth right now? Like, I kind of want to make sure I get into something new pretty often, you know what I mean? And kind of just testing out the market to see what it is. My car is actually worth more than what I bought it for the day I bought it brand new off the lot. I don't understand.
I was actually looking at the exact same thing.
It's just an Acura RDX. It's not like a Rolls Royce Phantom that I drove off the lot. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way it should be holding this much value, but it is. The used car industry has heated up. It's on fire, and I just don't know what to do with it. But I will tell you this: they've got to be making money off of it, right?
If they're like parting it out, sure, but I think it's kind of I don't know. I mean, I sold my truck, and I'm surprised the amount that I got for it. So, and I took it. I was like, I went to 3 different dealerships, and they lowballed me, and who was it? Crap. They gave me like 4 times what everybody else was offering, and it was something. It wasn't Carvana, it was someone different. But yeah, I was like,
CarMax.
yeah, you can CarMax, yeah. And I was like, yeah, go ahead, take it. They wrote me the check and that day, and I was like, okay.
Incredible, man. It blows my mind, right? I mean, if it stays like this, I mean, hopefully it stays like this for like another year, right? Because I want to keep my car for about 2 years and then flip mode it, right? I'm gonna get like the 2024 Acura RDX.
Dude.
I just want to be able to sell it for more than what I bought it for. That'd be great.
I'm in one of those positions. I have a CTS V. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but
What
it's
is that? A Honda CRV? Is that what you said?
No, it's a Cadillac. It's a V series. It's like some V8.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Something
Race car
that
meets
Italian would
Cadillac.
drive, right?
Oh, that
Well,
was good.
so get this. So
Yeah.
I go to the dealership and I get this little check-in. Oh crap, right? And it's a fuel filter and some shocks. Anyways, it's like $15,000, right, to fix this car. And I'm like, it's a used car. It's got like 80,000 miles on it. I'm like, it's gonna be $15,000 to fix it. I should probably just buy a new car. And I go and I'm like, well, let's see what these cars. What the hell? Like, there's nothing I
There's
can
no
buy.
way.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is ridiculous. So I'm like, well, even if I sold this car, because I could probably get it. To your point, I could probably get way more than I paid for that car. And it's like, but then what do I do? Right. So that's the weird thing in the auto industry. Do I really want to buy a car in this, auto market? I mean, first of all, there wasn't anything good available. So it's like, what?
Did you hear what the Ford CEO said in his earnings report? He says that he knows that his dealerships are raising prices above the MSRP, and that they're thinking about following Tesla's lead here on selling cars online only.
Yeah, I mean,
that could
why
flip the
not?
script for sure, right?
Yeah, like Ford's a good. I mean, that was another one, man, too. That was like $10 not that long ago.
Right.
Go back to 15, over 15.
15, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. There's a lot of stuff out there that's just like that. Like a lot of stuff.
Definitely going to be watching the auto industry, Clinton Barnes. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for showing up for our show. Hopefully, you guys made it to work safe, or you're ready for your trading day today. Be cautious of the ape trade this week. Be cautious of the Fed talk the CPI data this week. There's going to be a lot of hot stuff coming your way. Be prepared for it. We put some plays on your radar. I hope you guys are set up for it. Have a great day. Have a great trading week. And we'll talk to you all next Sunday. Stock Dads out, baby.
Peace out. Bye, guys.
Cut it. I can't keep it for long.